Life often brings us face to face with challenging personalities none more perplexing than the narcissist. Their need for validation, their inability to see beyond themselves, can leave us feeling frustrated, drained, or even powerless. But what if I told you that calling them out is not the answer? Instead, there's a higher way, a divine way, that can guide us to respond with wisdom, grace, and strength. Today, let's explore what God's wisdom teaches us about dealing with narcissists, not with confrontation, but with clarity and peace. Narcissism is a complex trait, often misunderstood by those who encounter it. At its core, narcissism is not born from true confidence or self-assurance, rather. It stems from a profound insecurity hidden beneath a facade of superiority. This insecurity drives a narcissist to seek constant validation and admiration, creating an endless cycle of need that can exhaust everyone around them. To understand the nature of narcissism, you must first realize that what you see on the surface, arrogance, entitlement, and an exaggerated sense of self, is merely a mask. Beneath it lies a fragile sense of self-worth that the narcissist works tirelessly to protect. When we encounter narcissistic behavior, it can be tempting to react with frustration or to challenge it head-on. After all, the overt displays of self-importance or the manipulative tendencies can feel unfair, even oppressive. But before taking action, it is crucial to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing the narcissist as someone intentionally malicious, recognize them as someone deeply afraid of not being enough, afraid of rejection, and afraid of their true self being exposed. This understanding is not about excusing their behavior, but about freeing yourself from the emotional tug-of-war they often create. Narcissists thrive on reactions. Whether positive or negative, your response fuels their sense of control and importance. When you call out a narcissist, you inadvertently play into their hands, offering them the drama they subconsciously crave to validate their distorted self-perception. They are masters at deflection, turning the tables and making themselves the victim. This is why direct confrontation rarely yields the results we hope for. Instead of sparking change, it often leads to further conflict, leaving you feeling drained and unheard. Understanding the nature of narcissism also means recognizing its limits. A narcissist's sense of self is built on shaky ground, and their world revolves around maintaining the illusion of superiority. This means they rarely take responsibility for their actions or acknowledge their flaws. Expecting accountability or genuine introspection from a narcissist is often a fruitless endeavor. Instead, your energy is better spent cultivating your own understanding and emotional resilience. The more you understand the root of narcissism, the less power it has over you. This knowledge allows you to detach emotionally and see their behavior for what it truly is, a reflection of their inner struggle, not your worth. It empowers you to step out of the cycle of blame and reaction, giving you the clarity to decide how to respond. It's also important to approach this understanding with compassion, not just for the narcissist, but for yourself. Dealing with someone who exhibits narcissistic tendencies can be incredibly challenging. It can make you doubt your own instincts, question your boundaries, and feel emotionally depleted. Compassion for yourself means acknowledging the difficulty of the situation and giving yourself permission to prioritize your well-being. By understanding narcissism as a defense mechanism rather than a deliberate choice, you create space for empathy without compromising your boundaries. This does not mean tolerating abusive or manipulative behavior, but it does mean releasing the need to fix or change the narcissist. The true power lies not in controlling others, but in controlling your response to them. When faced with narcissistic behavior, remember that you are not responsible for their healing or their validation. Your role is to protect your peace and act with wisdom. The more you understand the dynamics at play, the less likely you are to be drawn into their web of control. Instead, you can choose a higher path, a path of clarity, strength, and self-respect. In this way, understanding the nature of narcissism becomes not just an act of wisdom, but a profound act of self-love. When dealing with a narcissist, the instinct to call them out can be overwhelming. Their behavior often feels so blatantly self-centered, dismissive, or manipulative that challenging it seems like the natural response. However, calling out a narcissist directly is rarely effective and can even make the situation worse. To handle these situations wisely, it's essential to replace the urge for confrontation with a deliberate, thoughtful approach rooted in self-preservation and in inner strength. Narcissists are highly reactive to criticism, no matter how gently it is delivered. Their carefully constructed sense of self cannot tolerate being questioned or exposed. When you call them out, even with the intention of holding them accountable, you risk triggering their defense mechanisms. These defenses might include anger, denial, blame shifting, or even calculated attempts to undermine you. Narcissists are skilled at turning a confrontation into an opportunity to paint themselves as the victim, twisting the narrative until you are left questioning your own perspective. In the end, rather than resolving the issue, you are more likely to find yourself embroiled in unnecessary conflict. Wisdom teaches us to step away from these traps. When we choose wisdom over confrontation, we acknowledge that not every battle is worth fighting. This does not mean becoming passive or allowing yourself to be mistreated. Instead, it is about understanding that the energy you expend trying to call out a narcissist is better spent on strategies that protect your peace and uphold your dignity. Confrontation often gives them exactly what they want: attention, control, and the chance to dominate the emotional narrative. By refusing to engage in this way, you deny them the power they seek. Choosing wisdom also means recognizing the limitations of your influence. Narcissists rarely change as a result of external pressure. Their transformation, if it happens, comes only through a profound internal shift, one that no amount of confrontation or reasoning can force. Accepting this reality frees you from the burden of trying to fix them or make them see the harm they cause. It allows you to focus on what you can control: your own actions, your boundaries, and your emotional well-being. One of the most powerful ways to respond to a narcissist is through calmness and neutrality. When faced with their provocations, remain steady and composed. This approach not only protects your peace, but also disarms their attempts to manipulate or control the situation. A narcissist thrives on eliciting strong reactions from others, be it admiration, anger, or frustration. When you respond with calm detachment, you deprive them of the fuel they need to sustain their behavior. Over time, this can shift the dynamics of the relationship, reducing their influence over you. Boundaries are another cornerstone of wisdom. Instead of calling out a narcissist, assert your boundaries firmly and consistently. This is not about punishing them or forcing them to change. It is about defining what you will and will not tolerate in your interactions. Boundaries are not for their benefit, but for your own. They serve as a protective shield, ensuring that you maintain control over your time, energy, and emotional state. When enforced with clarity and calmness, boundaries send a powerful message: you respect yourself enough to demand respect from others. Finally, wisdom calls us to act in alignment with our values. Reacting impulsively or with anger may feel satisfying in the moment, but it rarely aligns with the higher version of ourselves we strive to embody. Instead of letting their behavior dictate your response, choose actions that reflect your integrity, kindness, and strength. This does not mean tolerating mistreatment, but it does mean refusing to lower yourself to the level of manipulation or hostility. In every interaction with a narcissist, remember that wisdom is your greatest ally. It allows you to see beyond the surface, avoid unnecessary conflict, and maintain your sense of self-worth. By choosing wisdom over confrontation, you rise above the chaos they create and walk a path of clarity, strength, and inner peace. This path may not always be easy, but it is one that honors both your dignity and your deeper sense of purpose. When faced with the challenge of dealing with a narcissist, it is easy to feel compelled to respond to their actions with frustration, confrontation, or even retaliation. Yet a higher perspective reminds us to pause and reflect on principles that transcend the immediate situation. The divine wisdom, as expressed through timeless spiritual teachings, offers a profound guide for navigating these interactions in a way that uplifts both ourselves and the situation at hand. Turning to principles like patience, humility, and love, we find a path that aligns with our higher self and fosters lasting inner peace. Patience is one of the most undervalued yet transformative qualities when dealing with difficult personalities. A narcissist's behavior often seeks to provoke, manipulate, or draw you into their world of drama. Reacting impulsively to their provocations only deepens the cycle of negativity. Patience, however, allows you to create space between their actions and your response. It grants you the clarity to see their behavior for what it truly is, a reflection of their inner struggles, rather than a personal attack on you. With patience, you can respond from a place of strength, rather than reacting out of frustration or anger. This principle helps you maintain your emotional balance, even when the narcissist attempts to disrupt it. Humility, often misunderstood as weakness, is another powerful tool in this context. Humility does not mean lowering yourself or allowing others to mistreat you. Rather, it is about recognizing that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone, least of all a narcissist. Their constant need for validation and superiority often stems from their own lack of humility. By embodying this virtue, you remove yourself from the competitive dynamic they often try to establish. Humility allows you to disengage from their attempts to draw you into comparisons or power struggles. It is a quiet strength that speaks volumes without ever needing to assert itself. Love, though seemingly counterintuitive when dealing with a narcissist, is perhaps the most transformative principle of all. This is not about romantic or naive love, but rather a profound, unconditional regard for the humanity within all of us. To love in this way does not mean condoning harmful behavior or ignoring the need for boundaries. Instead, it is about recognizing that the narcissist's actions often stem from deep wounds and insecurities. Responding with love means refusing to let their behavior harden your heart or cloud your spirit. It means choosing compassion over resentment, even when it feels undeserved. These divine principles also guide us in understanding our role in the interaction. Too often we believe that we must change or fix the narcissist to restore harmony. Yet spiritual wisdom reminds us that our primary responsibility is to ourselves and our own growth. By focusing on embodying patience, humility, and love, we create an atmosphere of grace that not only protects our peace but also sets an example for others. This approach does not guarantee that the narcissist will change, but it does ensure that you remain true to your highest values. Reflecting on these principles, it becomes clear that our response to a narcissist is less about their behavior and more about our own spiritual journey. Every interaction with a challenging person is an opportunity to practice these virtues, to strengthen our inner resolve, and to grow closer to the person we aspire to be. It is not about winning an argument or proving a point, but about walking a path of wisdom and grace. Applying divine principles to such interactions is not always easy. It requires a conscious effort to rise above the immediate emotions and look at the situation through a broader lens. It is a practice of faith, trusting that by aligning with these higher values, you are creating a ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond the immediate conflict. Over time, this approach not only strengthens your own sense of peace and self-worth, but also creates an environment where healthy, respectful interactions are more likely to flourish. By reflecting on patience, humility, and love, you align yourself with a deeper sense of purpose. These principles remind us that the way we respond to others, especially in challenging situations, is a reflection of our inner strength and spiritual maturity. They teach us that true power lies not in dominating or controlling others, but in mastering ourselves and our reactions. In this way, divine wisdom offers a path not only for dealing with narcissists, but for navigating all of life's challenges with grace and integrity. Your peace is one of the most valuable things you possess, and when dealing with a narcissist, it is often the first thing they target. Narcissists are skilled at creating chaos, drawing you into unnecessary conflicts, and undermining your emotional balance. Protecting your peace and energy in these situations is not just important, it is essential. To do so requires a deliberate and mindful approach that prioritizes your well-being and shields you from the emotional turbulence they often bring. A narcissist's behavior is rooted in a need to dominate the emotional landscape of those around them. They thrive on attention, whether positive or negative, and they often use manipulation, criticism, or dramatic displays to elicit a reaction. By understanding this dynamic, you can begin to see their behavior as a strategy rather than a reflection of your worth. This shift in perspective is crucial because it allows you to disengage emotionally from their attempts to draw you into their web. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can respond with clarity and purpose, ensuring that your energy is not wasted on their games. One of the most effective ways to protect your peace is to practice emotional detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference or ignoring the situation. It means refusing to let their behavior dictate your emotions or disrupt your inner balance. It is the ability to observe their actions without absorbing them. When you detach emotionally, you create a buffer that prevents their negativity from penetrating your mind and heart. This practice requires self-awareness and discipline, but it is a powerful tool for maintaining your peace in the face of provocation. Boundaries are another cornerstone of protecting your energy when dealing with a narcissist. Clear, consistent boundaries communicate what you will and will not tolerate, and they serve as a protective barrier against manipulation and mistreatment. Setting boundaries is not about controlling the narcissist's behavior, but about defining the terms of your engagement with them. For example, if they attempt to engage you in a heated argument, you can calmly state that you will not participate and walk away. If they consistently disrespect your time or space, you can limit your availability to them. Boundaries are an act of self-respect, and enforcing them sends a clear message that your peace is non-negotiable. In addition to boundaries, it is vital to cultivate practices that replenish your energy and restore your sense of calm. Spending time in nature, engaging in mindfulness or meditation, journaling your thoughts, or connecting with supportive friends and family are all ways to counteract the draining effects of interacting with a narcissist. These practices help you center yourself, process your emotions, and maintain a sense of perspective. By prioritizing self-care, you ensure that your reserves of energy and resilience remain strong. Another aspect of protecting your peace is recognizing when to disengage completely. Not every relationship can or should be maintained, especially if it is consistently harmful to your well-being. While it may be difficult, sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to distance yourself from the narcissist altogether. This decision requires courage and clarity, but it can be a powerful step toward reclaiming your peace and energy. Protecting your peace also involves letting go of the need to change or fix the narcissist. Their behavior is not your responsibility, and attempting to rescue them often leads to frustration and emotional exhaustion. Instead, focus on what you can control: your actions, your boundaries, and your inner state. By releasing the need to manage their emotions or behavior, you free yourself from a burden that was never yours to carry. Finally, remember that protecting your peace is not a one-time action, but an ongoing commitment to yourself. It requires vigilance and a willingness to prioritize your well-being, even in the face of guilt or external pressure. It is about recognizing your worth and refusing to allow anyone to disrupt the harmony you have worked to cultivate. Your peace and energy are sacred, and preserving them is an act of self-love. By understanding the dynamics of narcissistic behavior, practicing emotional detachment, setting firm boundaries, and prioritizing self-care, you create a sanctuary within yourself that no one can disturb. In doing so, you not only protect your own well-being, but also set a powerful example for others, demonstrating that true strength lies in the ability to remain calm, centered, and unshaken by external turmoil. When dealing with a narcissist, the temptation to confront, criticize, or expose their behavior can be strong. However, these approaches often lead to greater conflict and reinforce their patterns of manipulation and control. Instead of calling them out or condemning their actions, a more transformative path is to lead by example. This means embodying the principles of integrity, kindness, and wisdom, allowing your actions to speak louder than words. And in doing so, you create an atmosphere of respect and dignity that can challenge their behavior without direct confrontation. Leading by example begins with understanding your own values and committing to live by them. Narcissists often operate in a world of self-interest and manipulation, seeking to control the narrative and the emotions of those around them. By staying true to your principles, you demonstrate a different way of being, one that prioritizes honesty, respect, and genuine connection. This is not about trying to change the narcissist, but about refusing to be pulled into their dynamic. When you maintain your values in the face of their behavior, you set a powerful precedent for how interactions should unfold. Kindness, though often seen as a vulnerability, is a strength in this context. A narcissist may expect hostility or confrontation, and responding with kindness can disarm their attempts to provoke or control. This does not mean tolerating mistreatment or ignoring your boundaries. Rather, it means choosing not to let their behavior dictate your emotional state. By responding with grace and compassion, you maintain control over yourself and refuse to stoop to the level of manipulation or hostility. And kindness, when paired with firm boundaries, becomes a powerful tool for maintaining your dignity and peace. Integrity is another key aspect of leading by example. Narcissists often twist the truth, manipulate situations, or play the victim to gain sympathy or control. By staying grounded in honesty and authenticity, you provide a counterpoint to their behavior. Your actions and words should align with your values, creating a sense of consistency and trustworthiness that stands in stark contrast to their unpredictability. Over time, this consistency can serve as a silent challenge to their behavior, showing that there is a better way to interact and connect with others. One of the most significant ways to lead by example is through your ability to remain calm and composed in the face of provocation. Narcissists thrive on eliciting strong emotional reactions from others. Whether it is admiration, anger, or frustration, they use these reactions to validate their sense of control. By refusing to react impulsively, you take away their power to dictate the emotional tone of the interaction. Calmness is a form of strength that communicates self-control and resilience, qualities that a narcissist cannot easily undermine. Another critical aspect of leading by example is demonstrating respect not necessarily for the narcissistic behavior, but for yourself and for the principles you hold dear. This includes respecting your own boundaries and enforcing them consistently. When you assert your limits with confidence and without hostility, you send a clear message about how you expect to be treated. This not only protects you, but also models healthy interaction dynamics for others who may be observing. Your actions also have the potential to influence those around you, even if the narcissist themselves remains unchanged. People who witness your ability to respond with kindness, integrity, and strength may be inspired to adopt similar approaches in their own interactions. In this way, your example can create a ripple effect, fostering a culture of respect and dignity that extends far beyond your immediate situation. Leading by example does not mean that you will always see immediate results. Narcissists are often deeply entrenched in their patterns of behavior, and expecting them to change overnight is unrealistic. However, your commitment to embodying your values serves a deeper purpose. It ensures that you remain true to yourself and maintain your inner peace regardless of their actions. Over time, your example may plant seeds of change, even if those seeds take time to grow. Ultimately, the choice to lead by example is an act of empowerment. It allows you to rise above the dynamics of manipulation and control, creating a space where respect, integrity, and kindness can flourish. By refusing to engage in cycles of confrontation and criticism, you elevate the interaction to a higher level, one that reflects your deepest values and highest aspirations. In this way, you not only protect your peace, but also contribute to a broader culture of understanding and respect, showing that even in the face of difficulty, there is always a better way forward.